Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. In this video we're going to talk about this Ward C60 Sapphire, not Trident. Well, this is not a full review video but rather like a follow-up video. Well, before I purchased the watch, I tried to look for videos on YouTube about reviews of the watch, and I came across a video about a person talking about a flaw that he said that the crystal is not flush to the bezel, and he was like using a drill bit or a sharp tool to hit the bezel and all that. And I watched it and I just like, okay, I'll just ignore the video. But then that person, the maker of the video, posted a comment on my C60 unboxing video. So this is what prompted me to do a quick video. I'm not an apologist, I'm not a fanboy for Christopher Ward, because I have like, well, these are not all my watches, but some of the watches that I've selected to put in the video, because I want to talk about the case of the crystal being not flush to the bezel, or the case not bay. All right. So as you can see on this C60 Sapphire, the crystal is sitting above the bezel. So I don't think this is a flaw, but rather a design choice, and I have all these watches to back me up. Well, there are some dive watches with the crystal beneath the bezel. You can have like Seiko SKX, Seiko Mini Turtle, Orient Kamasu, Orient Ray, even like for Rado, I think the Rado Captain Cook, you also have the crystal sitting beneath the bezel. But on a lot of these watches, or all of these watches that I'm going to show you here, we have the crystal sitting above the bezel. So that is why I don't think that it is a flaw, but it's kind of like a design choice. And if you were to look at the edge, I don't think it is really that sharp. I mean, you cannot cut your finger or your hand if you were to really run it like super hard. Nope, nothing's gonna cut you, and there's nothing. So I don't think there's any big issue here. Well, I'm gonna switch and show you some other watches. I think I missed out one watches, which I'm gonna stop the video for a while and get the watch. But to you, you're just gonna see that watch in just a flip of a second. Alright, so the first watch that I'm gonna show to you guys is the Thankn Aquaracer Caliber 5. As you can see, it is a dive watch, but the crystal is still above the bezel. Yeah, I think you can see it quite obvious here. The crystal is above the bezel. Well, maybe it's still slightly protected by the protrusion on the bezel itself, but yeah, it's above, and I don't think it is sharp or anything. I don't feel that it's a design flaw. Alright, so yeah, to try to convince you better, why not we take a look at this Rolex Oyster Perpetual. As you can see, the crystal is quite prominently way higher than the bezel of the watch. So do I call this a design flaw, or do I call this a defect? No, it is a design by choice, right? And what about this Tudor Black Bay 36 then? Well, it's slightly above the bezel, but not a lot. So do I call it a flaw? Do I toss this watch away? I don't think so. And what about, say, this Nodus Contrail? Well, this one is even more prominent, but I think it's a little rounded. They have like a radius or on the edge, but yeah, it's quite high. So it's not a design flaw, it's a design choice. And well, we're gonna go with the old Christopher Ward C60 Trident. Well, they have been using this kind of crystal above the bezel design for a very long time. I think I got this, I can remember, 2 to 3 years ago. So I don't think it's a design flaw or defect. Well, just go Laco, made in Germany. Well, maybe this is not a good choice, but yeah, you can see it's slightly above the case. And let me see if my Grand Seiko is having the same problem. Yes, the crystal is above, so I should toss this Grand Seiko away. And what about this Orient here? Yep, a defect. I should throw it away, I guess. Right? And well, I'm just joking about that if you're just watching halfway. So yeah, this Seiko 5, this quite famous SNSX, right? Which I say it looks like an UFO. Yeah, they have the crystal above the bezel. What about this hot Orient day date? Well, it's above. Well, maybe it's a copy of a Rolex, so they are following that crystal design. It's above the bezel. All right. And what about this boulder? Yeah, maybe slightly, but not a lot. So if you go back to the C60 Sapphire, well, I don't think it's an issue at all. I mean, they have like a small bevel on the edge of the crystal. So do I really think if it's a problem? No, I don't think so. You see that it's not sharp. It's not like 90 degrees kind of angle. There is a chamfer, which I think if you compare to that Rolex that we see here, it's taller and it has that same kind of chamfer. What about the Thankn here again? Yep, maybe there's less chamfer on the Thankn here, but definitely it's above the bezel. So, well, do I find it like a design or defect? I don't think so. I think it is a design by choice. And do I have any problem with the crystal sitting above the bezel? So far, none. But if you were to ask me personally, I would prefer, like especially for a sports watch, for the crystal to sit slightly below the bezel, because in that way it gives me like a sense of protection, in a way that the crystal is tucked beneath the bezel. You have like a feeling of, yeah, if you're gonna hit the watch on the wall, you might not shatter the crystal, but you will just damage the bezel or bezel insert that might be less costly to replace. And if you do not want to replace, it's still functional rather than having a cracked crystal. So I don't think this is a design flaw. So if you're thinking of getting one for yourself, don't be scared away by that video. And I do not want to resort to calling like names, calling like brands, like bashing them and all that. I will always give my true opinion, but I won't really go into bashing. But yeah, I don't know. So yep, that's I think that's about it for this video. If you have any concerns or any questions, feel free to put them down in the comments below, but stay civilized, stay friendly, no name callings. People have been calling me stupid names. I'm so getting used to it. So yes, you can disagree with me, all right, but just keep it friendly. All right, stay safe everybody. Bye bye. And yep, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.